Leon Jennings from Asian Persuasion MMA. I'm here with Antonio Caruso, who fights Eduard Folayang next weekend at 1 inside the Matrix. Antonio, I bet you're pumped, aren't you?
Oh man, I'm super pumped for this one, man. It's going to be a massive show, a massive card, and I'm ready to put on a massive performance for the world to see.
How's your year been with obviously the whole COVID thing and the lead up to this fight?
Yeah, man, it's been interesting. You know, what I mean, it's a testing year, but definitely I guess as fighters, we're always up against it. You know, tested whether it's weight cuts and hard training and that. So, I mean, I stay positive. I stay keep my mind on track and just keep moving forward. And it is what it is, and you just take it in your stride and and keep on improving.
So you went back home to Australia, obviously, when I guess after the world started getting a bit crazy. You went back out to Sanford MMA in Florida for your fight camp. How good was it to get back out to Sanford MMA?
Yeah, the best. Like it's always good to go home to my family and to my friends and that. I'm not gonna lie, this time was probably the hardest time of leaving. Like my family behind, I had a good I think it was a whole home for like a good 6 months. My friends and family really enjoyed myself back home, being with everyone, and a bit of downtime, and then it was back to business. But as soon as I got back into Florida, back into the gym, it was like, yeah, man, this is where I belong. It really is like Sanford MMA, the gym and in the States to me is a place where I feel like I belong, man. And I worked my whole life to get there, and I just love being there, man. It's like a kid being in a lolly shop, so I love it there, man.
How much of a big difference does it make being based at such a big, well-known gym, Sanford MMA, competing with killers, competing under Henry Hooft, who's one of the best coaches in the world?
Oh man, it's amazing. Like I come from honestly, and I'm not just saying this, but I literally come from training in my grandma's shed. Like I built a gym in my grandma's house just so I can train every day. And now, like I went from being alone every day, but that's why to me, COVID wasn't a huge issue for me for training because I was like, man, I honestly spent like a good portion of my career alone, like training. That's why I've traveled a lot for training because I could never get the training partners and the bodies that I needed. And that's why I traveled a lot to find these people. So for me, man, as soon as COVID hit, everyone went in the head, and I was like, "That's all, right, man. Like, I got my gym. I'm go back doing what I'm doing." So when I'm able to get to Sanford, man, it's a dream come true. You got great sparring partners, great teammates, and even better coaches, great facilities. Like the facilities that we got in Sanford are ridiculous. Down in Barwas, down at Hard Knocks with the gym there, like the recovery center we got there in Barwas. It's honestly next level. Like it is the future of MMA, and it's so amazing to be a part of that. That very first like sort of convoy of fighters who are literally getting like we can come off the mats. Hey, we've got showers provided. They even have towels, everything set up for us. Showering straight into like ice baths and hot baths, recovery boots, chiropractors on hand. It's amazing, man. And I'm blessed to be there, man. And it's a massive credit to us. And luckily a brand like Sanford, medical gets behind us, man. Like bless them and shout out to them because without people like that getting behind us, like it would make our job a lot harder.
And you've turned up in Singapore in force. Obviously, you've got Ongla and Martin competing as well. It's about half the fights on the card.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah.
Sanford
Well,
MMA involved.
yeah. Well, what is there? Is there five or six? There's six fights that
Six
night. Yeah.
fights, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're half of it, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool, man. Like we got, arguably, three of the biggest fights of them all. You know what I mean? And barring the other title fights, we make up that card big time, and it's a great feeling, man. It's a credit to our gym and our team that what I mean. Like the best survive there. And what I mean, it shows. Like we've got champions, and we've got future world champions coming up as well. So we're a gym and a team that is to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? And our coaches, like they really implement on us that they say, boys, we aren't the best gym in the world, okay? Because the best gym in the world means that we've hit our point. we are striving to be the best gym in the world. So we are always working. And I love that, man, about that, because we can easily sit back and be the big hotshot gym. We've got the facilities, we've got the coach, we've got the team, we've got the accolades to back it up. But they're like, no, we don't want to go around telling people we're the best, because the best means, it's over. We're still striving to be better. And honestly, that's what makes that gym so dangerous, is that's the attitude we implement on the, like, so they implement on us. And Greg Jones says it he said a great one to us all. He goes, boys, we don't lose because we just run out of time. That's the attitude we want. And I love that. I really do. I love that feeling, and that spreads the atmosphere throughout the team, and what makes us all so dangerous.
Hopefully they'll be with you in your team. You won't have your brothers though, which is they're usually in your corner and normally with you in fight week. How's that?
Yeah, man. Look. Of course, I love having my brothers around me, man. Like, it's because at the same time, I love the fight game. Some guys are super serious about it. I'm a bit of a joker, man. I'm a bit of a joker in life, I mean, I love to have a good time, and I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And so unfortunately, my brothers aren't here this time. Which sort of it sucks, but at the same time, it's a bit of a blessing too. Like, I'm happy to just be with the team, with the squad, like purely on this fight, man. And like, no, have to see people and hang out with people. And someone so flew in, I'll catch and have a coffee with him. Nah, man, it's just purely me and this fight on October 30. So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise. But yeah, it's funny actually about my brothers. I was talking to my other the crazy one, Sav, like formerly known as Sub on the internet. Because when we were trying to organise, like, for me to have a cornerman to come over, because one championship wanted to know, they wanted to know really early who was going to be in my corner. And unfortunately, everyone from Australia was like, look, man, we can't come, because like, if I come, I've got to take 7 days off of work. And then when I land back in Australia, it's another 2 weeks off because of quarantine. And a lot of people are like, man, I can't afford to take that long off for work. And I sort of looked at my brother Sav like, oh man, I might need you. And he looked at me and goes, look, Tony, because I love you. He goes, but don't take me. He goes, in this time, if I fly around and someone tells me to put on a mask or get in my face about it, he goes, I'm probably going to get arrested. I said, yeah. I said, I'll stay home. So he made the decision for me. So I'm lucky enough to have a teammate from Sanford, Marquez. He's coming over with me, along with Henry and Greg and that. So yeah, we've got a good team, in the corner. So I'm excited.
Brilliant. This could be your second fight in one championship. Obviously, first one didn't go your way against Peter Boost, who's obviously a very good fighter. What did you learn from that fight?
Man, I learned a lot from that fight in terms of especially about myself, man. Like, I went from the Australian scene where, like, I would watch a guy, would do a bit of research. Honestly, the research would be over in 24 hours. I quickly watch, got it. But now we go to training, you know what I mean? Where when you get to this elite level, you can't do that. You can't watch a guy for 24. Like, that's what I did with Peter. I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. But you can't. You need to really dive into these people. And that's what I feel like going into this fight is, I've done so much. I already knew so much about Edward as a fighter, because I'm a fan of him. I watched a lot of him, and and now I've done so much research on him, and now I'm lucky enough to have Martin, who's a teammate, who's fought him and beat him. So I've got a guy who's fought him, beat him, a bit of insight on that, plus all his fights that I've already watched. B, now I'm rewatching it and doing the research on him. So yeah, you know what I mean. You realize once you get to this level, the word obsession that people talk about, it's true. You need to be obsessed with it. You need to know everything about him. You got, I'm to the point where, I've researched everything about Edward, man. Like, as in, where they come from, they're the Philippines, their attitude, everything, man. Like, so, really get deep into him, and as a fighter, even watch him as a fighter, how he progressed over the last, 2-3 years. What did he add? What has he got better at? What has he got worse at? You know what I mean? So, it's a lot to it now. And I feel like a lot more comfortable in me going into this fight, knowing that I know so much more about my fighter. And, man, I'm super confident about this fighter and the future ahead.
This is kind of a perfect scenario. You're competing on the same card as Onglau and Martin. You're fighting a legend, someone you've looked up to. Not only that, your teammate Martin's beaten him. You've both got the same last opponent, which I guess gives you an added advantage as well. Just seems like this is going into it, maybe the perfect scenario.
Yeah, man, of course. It's a great, like, a lot of people, I think, on paper, especially where I come from in Adelaide, we're like, oh man, you sure, because a lot of those people, they watch the highlights, and on highlights, Edward's a scary guy on a highlight. You watch him, bro, he's got some great highlights, man. And he really does. And that's, once again, if you did minimal research, you're going to sit there going, oh, man, this guy, he's untouchable, he's unbreakable. But you sit down and watch his fight and pull him apart over 15 minutes, there are holes, there are gaps. So for me, man, it is, it's a perfect fight for me. Like for me, my plan with this year was to have a couple fights and fight a top 5 guy or Edward, if the year went my way. Like, honestly, and that was the name I actually said, was Edward Folayang, because I'd watch him a lot. And even my girlfriend would say to me, she'd go, oh, what, you weren't watching this guy. What are you watching? This is early this, year. And I'd say, honestly, I feel like he's a guy that I'm going to fight in the future, and I'm preparing for it now. And long and behold, here we are fighting this guy. So, sometimes I guess the universe does line up sometimes, and yeah, it's a perfect storm. And October 30, I just got to put the icing on the cake and have a great end of the year.
What would it mean to you to beat a legend like Edward at this stage in your career?
Oh man, what I mean? Like, you grow up, I guess, what I mean? You watch, remember the old prides and all that stuff, and you're like, oh man, legends, and you could just only imagine meeting guys like this. And now you're like, not only do I get to meet these guys, but I'm going to get to beat these guys. And now I'm going to be one of the guys that a kid's going to watch. Oh man, I just watched, Antonio the Spartan. I say this is the city of Lion, the Lion City in Singapore, and it's the old Lion against the young Lion, and the young Lion's coming in to eat, man, and you know what I mean. It's the handover, so that's how I feel, man. It's the passing of the torch. This division is to me one of the strongest divisions in one championship, and it's time for a new face to put his name in there. So I'm excited, man.
Love it. That leads into my last question. How does it go down on October 30th?
It's going to be a war, man. It's going to be a war. That's what we're always in. I'm a warrior. He's a warrior. And, there's one thing that we throw off, man, that's war. So you tune in October 30 and me and Edward, we're going to throw it down. Now, I can't promise what's going to happen. If I could, I'd tell you the future right now. But I can't promise, but I know it's going to be a war and it's going to be an epic fight. So make sure you don't miss out.
We can't wait. It's a stacked card, 4 title fights. Your fight with Edward leads into them title fights. You couldn't get a better fight really to lead into 4 amazing title fights. So, yeah, no one can miss this.
No, it's gonna be a great show. It's one championship have done a great job, put a great card together considering the circumstances. And man, like if you're an MMA fan from anywhere, you're gonna enjoy this night, man. It's gonna be a cracker. Like, especially with the other fights on the card and the main event especially, man. I'm excited. I'm actually really excited to watch Angla live, man. I'm a huge fan of Angla, and I'm so excited to watch him live for the first time. And he's gonna be. It's gonna be a great fight with him, like, because he's a scary dude, Angla, man. Like, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Like, honestly, like one of the nice. Like, I call him the real life Goku because he's just such a nice, genuine, like, soul. But man, he is one scary man. Like, when he looks you in the eye and he tells you the damage that he wants to inflict on this guy, I'm like, oh, man, I feel bad for this guy. So, it's going to be an epic main event too.
Yeah, I spoke to Onglo earlier. Yeah, he said he wants to make sure that Rainier never forgets him.
Yeah, nah, man. He's same with Martin, man. I got to say, 2 guys that are, I'm like, wow, man, these guys, they're coming into this fight like very, but even for being champions, that they're so hungry and motivated. And I'm like, yeah, man. It's great for me too, because man, like, we can all feed off each other, and then especially Angla, man. I can't wait to see that fight. Like, I think it's going to be good. You never can write anyone off. All the best to both of them. But yeah, good luck to Angla at the time, man. Angla's coming in with, he's not happy.
Well, we can't wait. Thank you for today. Good luck next week, next Friday, October 30th in Singapore. One Inside the Matrix. It's going to be epic.
My man. Thank you very much.
So, man. Cheers, mate.
See you, buddy.